Hey everyone, in today's DMZ video, I'll go over all of the new information we got from Call of Duty regarding DMZ Season 3. Some of this info is expanding on changes that they talked about last week. There is a lot of other new stuff that we need to get into that we didn't know about until now. We've got details on all the new stuff, including the new backpacks, new armor plate carriers, and whether or not there will be a mission reset. So let's dive right into it, and starting with the barter system. So we did hear about the barter system last week, the ability to exchange items for another. In this case, the example they were giving was to get some of the harder to find items like the blowtorch probably, or GPU for example. But they also are adding the ability to get some of the new plate carriers and backpacks that we'll talk about later in this video, as well as kill streaks, self-revive kits, keys, and more. So the way the barter system is going to work is it's an additional tab on the buy station. You go in, you click on the tab, and you're going to see a recipe for one item. And that recipe may be, let's say, for the blowtorch, and it will say, hey, we need you to get 2 electrical components, 1 hard drive, and etc, 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 and you get those things, and then you do the swap for the blowtorch in that example. It will be very similar to that. And the recipes are going to be different across every exclusion zone, so all the maps are going to have different recipes, and there's going to be over a dozen of these different trade combinations, and they can be memorized. They're going to be fixed, so once you figure out all the recipes, you can just kind of know what you're looking for without going to the buy station, find all those items, and then head to that buy station and trade in for the item you're looking for. This is a pretty cool new feature, and I think it's gonna be great, especially for some of those harder to find items. But to have a lot of the operator items like the new backpacks and plate carriers is interesting as well. We don't know for sure if this will be the only place that you'll be able to acquire these new carriers and backpacks, or if they will be scattered around the maps as well. But this is an option for us to get kitted up with the new stuff. So next up is the Contraband Workshop, and we heard about this last week. There's really no new information about this. It is an opportunity for you to go flip-flop attachments from your contraband guns to make sure that it is kitted out more appropriately the way that you would like it for your current raid. So the way it works is you're going to go up to one of these new workbenches, and they will be separate from the buy stations. They will be near the buy stations, but they're not going to be built into the buy station. For a small cash fee, you can flip-flop the attachments that you've unlocked for that gun. So you have to have unlocked an attachment for a gun in order to flip-flop the attachment that you need. For example, if you're looking for the SZ Holotherm scope to be added to one of your guns, you will have to have gotten your PDSW to rank 12 in order to have access to that site. Okay, so next up is the active duty operator slots. And yes, once again, we did get some information on this last week. However, there is some really interesting developments on this. I'll talk about that in just a moment, but just in case you missed it, you'll have 3 active duty operators that you can select which one you are going to go into the raid with. And they are all going to have their own on-soldier items like backpack, plate carrier, kill streaks, self-revive, and gas masks. And you can flip-flop which operator you're going to go in with. And before you launch in, you decide that operator, and then whatever they bring back that is not part of the global loadout, which is primary weapon, secondary weapon, lethal, tactical, and field upgrade, is only for that specific active duty operator, meaning that the kill streak that you might come back with is stuck on that guy. So this means contraband weapons are shared between active duty operators, but not keys. So they're now saying that keys are not swappable between the operators. This is a pretty big change from what we're used to. We're used to having a shared pool of 30 keys that we can use whenever we want. But in this case, we'll have to have them specifically attached to specific operators that we have in our active duty. This is a very strange play. I don't know if there's going to be like a key bank of that we're going to have for each one, or is it just going to still be 30 keys that we can hold in our main stash and then some are inaccessible? It's kind of a strange play. I don't really know how it's going to work, but we'll have to wait and see. You know, one last thing on this before we move on to the next subject, and that is we've seen a lot of wording in these Call of Duty blogs that's a little scuffed. So it is possible that they didn't mean it to come across the way that it did. So if something changes with regards to the keys, I'll let you know in the comments below. Next up is the new equipment, the backpacks, plate carriers, and rebreather. And we'll start with the backpacks on this list. These 2 backpacks are being added to the medium and large bag pool. So you'll have your standard bag, your medium, your large, your secure backpack, and your scavenger backpack. Now the secure backpack is going to allow you to secure items between runs, even if you die. Similar to Escape from Tarkov, it is a secured slot that whatever you put in there, if you die, you will still keep that item. So this is something that people have been asking for a while, and this is an interesting way of implementing it into the game. So part of the secure backpack is going to allow for that. So if you grab a mission item and you're trying to evac and you die evacing with it, well, if you put that mission item into your secure bag, you will be able to complete whatever you were working on. So next is this scavenger backpack, and this is a little bit more simple. Basically what this one is it looks like to be a large bag size, but instead of having a third weapon slot, it is actually removing that third weapon slot and adding additional item slots. So basically very, very helpful if you're planning on going in and looting a huge amount of mission items at the sacrifice of having that third weapon slot. Okay, now we're getting into the juicy stuff here. So we are getting 4 new plate carriers: the tempered plate carrier, the revive, the comms, and the stealth. And the tempered plate carrier you're probably familiar with from Warzone 1. Basically, it is 2 armor plates to get to full armor, meaning that each armor plate is now worth 75 health instead of 3 plates at 50 health each. So you only have to put in 2 plates to get the maximum plate efficiency with the tempered plate carrier. The next up is the medic vest, and this grants both faster revives on squad mates as well as faster self-revives when using a self-revive kit. Very, very helpful for sure. The next is the 3-plate comms vest, and this one is nutty. So this one increases the duration of all UAV technology, including the kill streak, the UAV towers, and enemy radios dropped by the AI. And it makes them function as an advanced UAV, meaning that it'll show the player direction and location. As an additional bonus to the vest, you also get an audio cue when an enemy operator is close to you. Kind of like the high alert perk is what they're saying. Now this vest seems pretty strong. Now I know that, like a lot of you, and myself included, we love the standard UAV over the advanced UAV because we can see a full red dot knowing that it's a player versus a potential AI in DMZ. Now this is still really, really strong though. With that increased duration of all UAVs is pretty nuts. And I'm not 100% sure how the auditory version is going to work. Is it going to be an audio alert based on the actual ping or the player? Because we all know that when UAVs are being used, it's like a pulse and it gives you the last position during the pulse. And then the time expires between the next pulse, and then you get another, hit on the radar. Is it going to be just where the ping is on the radar when you get the audio alert, or is it the actual player as he gets closer to you in between those pings? We'll have to see. But regardless, either way, this plate comms vest seems really, really strong. And finally, we have the stealth plate carrier. Comes built in with the ghost perk, keeping you off enemy radar. Built for those trying to keep a low profile. Having a vest with built-in ghost is pretty nuts. Typically the ghost perk is at the 8, 9, 10 slot of EXFIL streaks, which a lot of players don't get to that often. So having a plate carrier that has ghost built in is pretty nuts, and obviously very strong to counter those with the comms vest. Okay, next up we have a new field upgrade. It is called the Rebreather. We saw this in the raid content as well. I'm sure it's in the single player as well. But basically it allows you to breathe underwater for longer periods of time. So if you're trying to go for long stretches without peeking your head up top, this is going to help you do that. And obviously we've all been in that position where an enemy team is bearing down us. They know we've gone into the water and they're all staring at the top of the water, like looking for a little head to pop up. Well, with this tool, we'll be able to last a very, very long time under there and make a valiant escape when we probably otherwise would have died. Next up, they're adding a skeleton key. So the skeleton key is going to be a new item in the game, and you can literally use it to open any door in DMZ, with the exception of the Building 21 access key. But you can open all the doors within Building 21, or any door on any of the other maps, which is pretty nuts. This is allowing you to find another way past some of those difficult keys that you weren't able to find that were kind of holding you back in your missions. Also, this key can only be created through the new barter system. It has its own recipe, so be looking for that. Next up, probably the one thing that all of y'all were trying to find answers to prior to this, and that is, will they be resetting the mission progress for Season 3? And the answer is no, they will not be resetting your mission progress. They will only be adding missions, the tier 1, 2, and 3 of the new faction, the 5th faction that we don't know the name of yet. So we'll have 3 tiers of missions being added, with 2 more tiers being added at the mid-season update. So for all of y'all that were worried about losing your mission progress as you work towards your insured slots, rest assured your mission progress is not going to be touched at the start of Season 3. So next up and lastly, we've got the birds in the sky. We have a new EXFIL option, actually 2 new EXFIL options. One is with a heavy chopper. Yes, the heavy chopper from Ground War, where your guys are in it and you can shoot downward. Yes, you can actually get that helicopter in the air and then fly around the map in this heavy chopper until the fuel is completely drained. So how it works is this: there is a special fuel that is going to be hidden in the airport area, and you have to grab that to use it to fuel up the EXFIL chopper, the heavy chopper. And once it's off, you can fly around the map as much as you want until either you get shot down or you run out of fuel, or you take it outside of the map into the red area, and that will be you exfilling. Pretty wild stuff. There's going to be some funny moments of teams flying around in this heavy helicopter looking down on teams doing missions. I'm going to tell you that right now. And lastly, we have a personal private exfil. And this is a new feature that's being added to the buy station as an item. And basically, all it's going to do is allow you to exfil on an unused exfil point. Similar to the way like a hostage evac works. Players will likely be able to see the helicopter coming in if they get a visual on it, or see it on the mini-map, but it's not going to appear as a big blue and black symbol that we're used to seeing where the standard evacs are going to be. So you're going to be definitely off the radar for the most part, similar to the hostage contract. So there it is. That is all the new stuff that we know, and I'm actually fully expecting to get even more information, more detailed patch notes information tomorrow, the day before Season 3 goes live, to see if we're going to get any changes to weapons, which I fully expect, or any other smaller details that we've become fully accustomed to when going around in the DMZ. Well, there is just so much new stuff added for Season 3, and it's definitely got me pretty excited. Way more than I was expecting, for sure. It's cool to see the devs willing to try so many new things, and it's making me wonder, what is DMZ going to look like a year from now? Probably a shell of its former self. But I'm really excited to try the new changes. Let me know which features you're excited about for Season 3 down in the comments below, and make sure to drop a sub for more DMZ content, and I'll catch you in the next one.